Here's a project I've been putting off for a while. I have this Rupp and it had no wheels or tires on it. I got these cheapo 10-inch wheels at a mini bike swap meet for cheap. Yeah, they suck too, and I was told they suck. He had a better pair and I was stupid enough to like not go for them. But I got these. They are wicked out of true. And this is the rear one. I got two front ones and one rear. As you see, it has a place to mount the sprocket. And I want to see if I can get it trued up. It's also going to need bearings. And you can kind of see the beat marks on it. And yes, the bearings are definitely shot. But, you know, it's worth a shot because trying to find these wheels is wicked expensive. If I use these, I won't have any brakes on the wheels, but I can put a band brake on the engine, and considering what I'm using it for, just to putt around, I'm not going to race it or anything, it'll work. So let's try to true it up. I gotta say, I've never trued up a wheel in my life, so I do have a spoke wrench, and we'll make a gallant effort. There's one broken spoke I'm gonna cut out of there, I think, first, because it is, and look at, some of these are just totally loose, and something tells me they're not, you know, might not thread in that easy either. Look at that. Here's one of the broken ones here. And I'll just take that the hell out. It's not doing me any good. And it's going to take 2 hands and a wrench and probably some little vice grips. I do have a spoke wrench. I've had this thing for ages. I really don't think I ever used it, but I'm going to take my oiler and hit every single one of these nipples here to get them a little lube, so then maybe they'll move a little easier. I think one of the reasons I never tore into this is that the bearings look like they're going to be tough to get in and out, especially the one on the other side. And like the spokes are just kind of going to spin and not thread. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, you know, you true it all up, then you can't get the bearings in there. So what I want to do is I'm going to tighten up the loose ones, like I said, and get rid of that broken one. And you can kind of see like this part is dented too, so I might even try to pop that out with a hammer a little bit and see if it looks any better. It seems to be kind of hard to get it on camera, but this thing is wanked. Okay, there you see it. Whee! So I kind of tightened everything up. Now, you could tighten one up like this, and it would still be sitting like this, you know, it's not seated because it's rubbing against this. And you try to tap it with a hammer, or you try to tighten it up here, and it's still like that. It's like, you know, it's poorly engineered, cheap, and it's dented. And it seems further off than it was before. So, oh, and did I also mention it's not holding air? Oh, I know. Shit, I gotta screw around with it a little more, but I'm starting to think like, yeah, these aren't repairable. They're just trash. This is the second one of the 3, and the wheel and everything looks in better shape. However, it does not have the hub to support a sprocket. And one thought was to put the other hub in to this wheel. But that's a daunting task. There's one other wheel. It's on the front, and it's not bad. It wiggles a little bit back and forth, but I mean, it's usable the way it is. But I don't even know if these spokes are the same length. I don't know. Let's see how wiggly this one is. Here's the first one. I can just put that bar there so you can see how far. Ooh, that's way off. Okay, now let's try the second one. This one's pretty darn good, really. To get a sprocket on this, I drilled through that. I don't know. I don't, putting effort into Mickey Mouse isn't very good. I just don't know. Okay, it's pouring out today. And I've kind of given up on this, but then I'm thinking, well, maybe I can do it. And one thing that kind of got me yesterday was I thought that the sprocket carrier here that's on the hub was bent, and it actually is not. It's actually pretty straight, but the wheel is so wanked. So what I did is I put a couple of clamps on the shocks here, and I kind of marked the tire with a dot where it's the furthest away, and then I made like a boundary where it rubs against the clamp with the plus sign there. And I did that on both sides. And what I want to do, from what I know, is if it's, we go to the dot here, this is where we have the most room. So we want to tighten the spokes on this side of the hub to pull a wheel over, and maybe loosen on the other side. Okay. I think I'm also going to mark with the crayon on the rim too, so that I can see which spokes are involved. Kind of making it sound like I know what I'm doing, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Good day for some green tea anyway. Ooh, another spoke broke, but it broke at the end here. The other one broke there, so I might be able to use this where the other broken spoke was. Oh, happy day. Yeah, that other spoke isn't going in unless I shorten it. But are we any better? Oh yeah, it's almost perfect. Yeah, well, we're missing two spokes, and they both are in crucial places, although I'm sure that this thing doesn't have a lot of spokes, so missing two. There's the one. And there's the other. They are about a third apart on the wheel. Okay, I'm going to keep fooling with it. That's better. I mean, there's one other factor too, and that's height. And it doesn't seem to be changing height, like up, down, like this. Shit, that's even, Christ, it's like usable. It's almost building my confidence to the point that I want to take this hub out and put it in that other wheel over there, because that one's in better shape. I mean, another thought crossed my mind too, is that, I don't know if I mentioned this, that I can cut this off and weld it on, but I just got a welder, and I suck at welding. But I know somebody who could probably do it. Once again, is it kind of worth it? Can it be done? I don't know what kind of metal this is. Probably the cheapest. And shorten that up, and it looks like it's going to take. And it's good because it's right over the dot, which means that's the furthest point away. So we'll get that tightened up a little bit. Well, the gap here is like half of what it used to be, even a quarter of what it used to be. I'm pretty shocked. I didn't think anything would happen at all. The other side, I've been kind of ignoring this side. So this is still pretty wide here, which would mean it's tight here. So we're going to try loosen this side, tighten the other side. Tell you, that's a lot better, but what I'm starting to see is some up and down, you know, some bloop, some, you know, some of this. Not a shitload though. That's not bad, but the up and down is scaring me a little bit from going any further. But man, you know, this is about how the front one is right now, and I was thinking the front one was just okay, so I'm going to do the front. I'm going to give this one a break, I think, and see what we can do with the front. Another factor was were these things going to hold air or not. I can't remember if I tried slime or not, so I just blobbed some more in there. And got some pressure. I don't hear anything. Probably got about 10 pounds in there. I'll put a little bit more. God, wouldn't that be great? Because they're not friggin' bad. Yeah. Then where do you do the bearings? So here's my front wheel. Now, the reason I use this one, even it looks crappier than the other wheel, is because it has a brake hub, and this brake hub fits. The other wheel I got, this one, the brake hub did not fit, although they look the same. But, you know, like this brake won't even stop this tire. I mean, look, that's fully on. And the shoes are kind of kaput, and, you know, this is wrong. And I wasn't going to depend on these brakes anyway. I'm just going to use a band brake on the engine, on the clutch. So let's swap out these. Oh, and another thing, I tried to get air in it because I was going to slime this wheel too. And slime won't go into it. Air won't go into it. Why? I stuck a nail in there. The nail goes in fine. It's just mysterious. You know, very, very strange. And this thing I can kind of yank out like pretty far. So I don't know what's going on with this one. It's pretty weird. We're going to take it off. Yeah, I wonder why I had no brakes. Pad on that side, shoe on that side, nothing on this side. Not much on the other side. I have to do spacers and figure out the bearings, etc. on this wheel, but if I move it lightly, it won't wobble. It's not, you know, totally on the axle. But look at that. I mean, this one's pretty darn straight. Yeah, this is the one to go with. So, I think we want to put a couple of bearings in here. The axle's really small on these. I mean, that's what fits through stock Rupp. And I think that's 1/2 inch. And I think I might have bought bearings for this, but I just put it on hold because I didn't know what I was going to do. So we'll pound these out. We need a spacer bearing in the middle. I mean, bushing. Or maybe not. And then some spacers out here. And this wheel will be good for the front. Oh, I'm getting kind of stoked about this. Awesome. I also didn't mention it's holding air too. I didn't even put any in it. So that's a really good thing too. Well, all bearings except for one have come out okay. They're really shitty bearings, but this one kind of left the race in there. So heat it up a little bit. There we got it. Okay, we got the new bearings in. We put the bearings in the freezer overnight, and then we heated up the hub. We tapped it in. If you can kind of see in there, there's also a spacer like this that's inside to keep the bearings from collapsing when you tighten the nut. So this front wheel as long as I got spacers, should be able to be mounted. Then we got to order some up for the rear wheel. Okay, got some spacers on the side. That one looks good. This one I think is a little bit long. You can kind of see it sticks out a little bit. We can shorten that up a little bit, that's for sure. The thing is, I need a new axle. This axle, I don't know where I got it. I think maybe Home Depot or something, or Lowe's. And I think they said it was 1/2 inch, but if you put the calipers on it, it's under 1/2 inch. So I got a little bit of play in there, but new bearings are in. I've looked around for a 1/2 inch axle, and it's not as common as a 5/8, that's for damn sure. So I'll find one, or get something that'll work anyway. But this is pretty cool that this the front wheel is like set. Could use a little more true, but it's not bad at all.